Hello friends, Adam here with FED. Today I was gonna make a satirical video about how good Armor Knight and Fortress Knight are, but honestly, they aren't that bad. And every point I was making, I kind of was like, actually, that's kind of a good point. This isn't funny. This is just me complimenting this class. So I thought I would take the time to give like 5 or so reasons why I think Armor Knight and Fortress Knight are actually pretty good classes in Three Houses, especially a step up from anything we saw previously in other games in the series. Maybe except for a few exceptions where they're also pretty good. Like I think like Effie in Fate's Conquest is actually pretty good, and Oswin in FE7 is obviously pretty good. But you know, generally Armor Knights are seen as pretty lackluster units. But I think Three Houses really changes that in a myriad of ways. Now I'll talk about some of why I think that. So number one, they have solid bases to certify into. Now this is less about actually being in the class itself, but more just kind of a utility thing with classing into it. If you're willing to work for it, if you certify into Armor Knight, you automatically get boosted to 12 defense, and if you go into Fortress Knight, you automatically get boosted to 17 defense. Which is a simple way to bulk up low defense units. You can do it with mages and stuff. I see a lot of people suggest doing it for like Lysithea and things, which is cool and fun. So it's more of a utility thing rather than the class itself being really good, but it's something that gives it a bit of a niche to look into and use. So yeah, that's one reason. Number two, their really high defense is honestly really awesome and maddening. And maddening extremes are actually pretty good. So generally I like to have a unit that is, you know, in every other Fire Emblem game, it's like you want to have a student that has just enough speed to double, just enough strength to 1-round KO, just enough defense to survive a couple attacks, and that kind of thing. You just want to be able, there's like benchmarks to meet. Whereas in Three Houses, those benchmarks are so insane on maddening in most cases that you're not going to be able to meet those in more than 1 or 2 stats generally. It's pretty rare to have a unit that has like really good defense for maddening mode and also be able to double and things like that. So their really high defense is actually a welcome thing in maddening on Three Houses, where normally it's kind of overkill in other games. Their defense is just so high, it's kind of ridiculous. The extreme is good on maddening. You know, the enemy phasing is so difficult in Three Houses. It's almost on maddening. It's almost impossible. In many cases, but they are the Fortress Knight class. If you really train in it and get your defense high, maybe some defense stat boosters and stuff here or there, can really make them an enemy phase force, especially if you give them like Retribution or something. Can deal with those really annoying archers or snipers with Poison Strike. That could be nice. So yeah, honestly, actually pretty good on maddening for that defense. And number 3, low movement can be annoying in Fire Emblem, but it's less of an issue in Three Houses because of all the movement options the game gives you. You know, at the most basic level, you got things like Stride, right? You have Stride that just gives +5 move to a unit. You can use that twice a map with 1 battalion. And there are multiple battalions with Stride that you can get on any given playthrough. And that's pretty nice. So that's just +5 move to their force. That's 9, which makes them pretty mobile. That's a large chunk of the map right there. And then you have skills that you learn, or more, I guess, the combat arts you learn in the basic classes or the beginner classes in Myrmidon, Fighter, Monk, and the other one, Soldier. That, you know, reposition, swap, shove, drawback, those are all really great movement tech skills that allow you to, you know, at best give your, like, you could give your Armor Knight +2 move with swap, or +1 move with the other options. So that's actually pretty awesome. And then of course you have like the magics like Warp and Rescue that greatly improve the mobility of a lot of units if you use it. So that is, movement is hardly an option in hardly a hassle in Three Houses. There's so many options to work around low movement that it should never really be that big of an issue. You might have moments here or there where you wish they had 5 or 6 move, but 4 move is totally something you can overcome through just all the different options in Three Houses. Number 4, I think their class abilities are honestly pretty sick. Axe Fair is great. You know, maybe I'd prefer Lance Fair. Lance Fair might be slightly better, just because I like the combat arts on Lance Fair on Lance's better. The same goes for Axe. I guess Bow Fair too, but Axe Fair is great. Just +5 damage anytime using axe is awesome. And they also have weight -5. You know, axes are heavy. You can also give them shields, which are heavy. Weight -5 can allow them to just like not get doubled by some. The chances are you're going to get doubled a lot on Maddening. You get doubled a lot on Maddening regardless of your class. You just get doubled by everything. I feel like it's ridiculous. Everything's so fast. But Fortress Knights especially, you're going to get doubled by things. That's just how it works. And weight -5 is going to allow you to avoid getting doubled by like other Fortress Knights and other Armor Knights and stuff like that. So that's nice. So yeah, Axe Fair is great. Weight -5 is great. The mastered ability, kind of whatever, but it's, I don't know, it's there. It's a thing. But yeah, I think that's definitely a plus in their favor. And then finally, for students, it's really not that hard to certify into Armor Knight or Fortress Knight. You really just, because they both only require 2 ranks, so you just set, it's a kind of a set it and forget it kind of thing. You just set it to axes and heavy armor until you get it, and then you can certify into it, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. And heavy armor is not a terrible thing to invest in for the weight -3 and the weight -5. Smite is a great movement option, movement tech that I like a lot. That comes from learning heavy armor. And again, axes just are maybe the 3rd best physical weapon type, maybe 4th, depending on who you ask. But I think they beat out swords, definitely. But you know, you might say that and potentially gauntlets. You might say gauntlets are better, but I think that depends on the person. But yeah, so axes, you just need to study axes and heavy armor, and it's gonna make them they'll be a solid unit anyways. So. Anyways, thanks for watching, friends. You know, I really appreciate you making it to the end of this video. I know I used to say Armor Knight was like bad, and Fortress Knight is like a bad class. And you know, if you go back to my videos, like even just like a month or 2 after the release of 3 Houses, I was slamming these classes as if they're like the worst things ever made, which is just ridiculous. You know, in my defense, we only had normal and hard mode at that point, and normal and hard mode did not. Stats weren't as important with normal and hard mode, if that makes sense. Just being able to be extreme in one stat or the other. And Maddening, it's a lot more important to have that extremely high defense. But anyways, I'm sorry that I was just so quick to say that those are bad classes when they have awesome utility and great things to do, especially in Maddening. So yeah, I've changed my opinion. I have changed my ways. But anyways, make sure to subscribe, like the video, feeling generous. Hit it with a share, click the share button, share it on social media, or share it with a friend or something. That would mean a lot to me. And yeah, I'll catch you next time, friends.